Good evening, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is stock market analysis for today. Today is Wednesday, July 16th, 2014, and we're going to take a look at the markets, the action of the last 2 days, yesterday and today, and it's our BRIC country review, so we will look at Brazil, Russia, India, China. We're going to look at some Chinese stocks tonight and then touch on some trade ideas, so we got a lot to cover. Okay, so you've been looking at this chart, and you could probably see in here, this is a view from late 2012 into today. And I'm going to get and look at the closer in here in the lower action. But the point I want to make in here is look what's happening with the type of advance that we're doing. The advance that we had back here from November 2012 up into May of 2013 was stair-stepping waves, very steep slope on the rise in here, very strong advance, okay? Then we got into this choppy corrective action, and actually I think that this is actually a complex correction starting from here. I think this is the top of wave 3, and I think this is a what I call a running flat, and we talk about this in the post. So then we've got this final big move in here from early February 5th on up. And you can see that the slope of this line is a lot shallower. It's not rising nearly as hard. And we've got a lot of overlapping waves. And we continue to see these overlapping waves. So what this tells me is that the market's struggling. Okay, it's struggling. It doesn't have the power that it had, back over in here. And usually this kind of action is something that is leading into, it's like you're going to get a correction. You're going to you're topping out some way, somehow in here. I'm not quite sure what the picture is in here with these overlapping waves. Another thing I want to show you is when I look back at some of the history, I thought, okay, well, when I went back to 2006 into early 2007 in that big move, here was a similar type thing, although the two trends were like together. Here was a very tiny correction. But you can see that when the rapid slope started to get shallower and slow down, and the waves were very overlapping, then we had this correction, okay? Now, this wasn't the top because we had one more big move, but it was in the move that was going on in here prior. So here's the top. Here's July of 2007. Then we had this big sell-off, very quick zigzag, and then we had this rally back 2008 in October 2007. I'm sorry. So the October high, and that was it. And then of course we started the whole downtrend that went into 2008 2009. So when you look at that, this was just an example because I was looking back to see the kind of shallower, the overlapping waves, and where was I seeing something like that would lead to correction. You get a little bit of it happening here too, a lot of overlapping, and then we get the sell-off. So it's just something to be aware of. We go back to that other channel, the other picture. Now let me go ahead and zoom in. So if we look at the action here today, we're pushing up. We're getting to the top of the Keltner channel again, just like we did here, and here, and then we overlapped, got above the Keltner channel. So I don't know. We're just going to have to keep watching in here. We're still trending. The 10's above the 21, and I talk about it. The trend is your friend until it ends. And what's the other saying that I've heard before is trust until broken. So those are the two things I think about when I think about trends. All right, let's look at the Standard & Poor's 500. We still got these divergences on the Standard & Poor's 500, okay? And yes, we're still trending, struggling though in here, and we're staying above the 10 above the 21, above the 21. Now we're going to look at the Nasdaq. And it knows exactly where I want to go. How about that? How does it know that? All right, so then here we're not getting, again, we had this doji, and remember I talked about this on Monday night. I said, I'm not sure I trust this. Doesn't look like a strong move to me. And of course, we haven't taken out the highs of Monday on the Nasdaq, and it, we sold off yesterday, and then we got a little bit of a sell-off today. Actually, we were up 9.5 points, but from where we opened, we sold off most of the day. And that's kind of interesting too. I don't have Apple pulled up. I did look at Apple, and it almost looks like a big reversal bar today on Apple. Okay, the next thing I want to look at, we'll look at some of our indicators that we've got. Short-term trading index. Well, we're getting this blue 10-day exponential pulling on down, but we're not below the red yet. Pulling down like we did back here in early June and mid to late June. We had a reading of, what is that, 0.69. So nothing, not extreme yet. The VIX. Okay, so naturally when the Dow's up, well, we're at 77 points or something today. Let me go back. Yeah, 77.5 points today. So the VIX is selling off. We're still holding this divergence in here. Of course, this hasn't gone to a lower low yet, but we've got this 10 above the 21 still. So it's holding that pattern. So it's going to be interesting here. Just feel like we just keep edging and edging up and edging up. And the high-low index, take a look at that. So you notice how we've pulled back down here, broke this trend line, and now we're just hanging down here in the low area, I call it. I mean, it's not mirroring the move of the Dow. I mean, when you think of look at this move like this, although it is zigzag and overlapping, and you come back and take a look at the high-low, and the high-low had one push up here to not, I mean, they're not mirroring it and pushing to the high side is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it very well, but I think you get the picture. So to me, that's a little bit of divergence going on. All right, let's take a look at the 3 ETFs that we look at, which is the semiconductor, the home builders, market vector semiconductor, home builders, and the XLF, the financial select. So why do we look at these? Okay, just as a little bit of a reminder, I like these three because, okay, semiconductors are embedded in all the electronics and technology. Okay, so you've got a representation of the technology part of the economy. Okay, and this has just continued to keep pushing higher. Now we are getting a little bit of divergence showing up in here, but we pushed higher, although that's not a strong bullish type bar in here. And boy, we're getting a lot of pretty tight little trading bars. Of course, we've had that even in this move up, but I don't know. I mean, all you could say is the trend is still up. I mean, look at this. I mean, it's pretty solid and it's still trending. So it is not leading you down is the point I'm trying to make. So on the other hand, the home builders, which we watch because the home building is such a significant part of the economy, and everything that's related to home building that goes into it, from furnishings and appliances and on and on and on. Here you've got this outside bar today. Okay, so outside we closed up, but it's almost like a long-legged doji bar, what we call a long-legged doji. To be honest with you, I'm not sure what the significance of this move is. It's not a bullish bar. It's not an engulfing bullish bar. Let's see if I can see. I don't see another one, kind of like this bar here, where it engulfed this previous bar, and it was very bullish in terms of what it did, and then of course it kept pushing up. That's not what this is showing us. So all I can say is it looks like we've broken out of this wedge. We're breaking down. The trend lines are crossed, and so it's looking negative in the home building area. And we go to the financial indice, the financial select spider. This also over the last, what is this? This is July 3rd. So this was a high on July 3rd, 2304, and we have not closed above that. Okay, so this is basically going sideways since June 9th. in my opinion. I mean, you're chopping sideways. And why do we watch the financials? Because the financials are, again, an important part of the economy, and they kind of lead a lot of times you'll see them lead the market and give an indication. The financials have got, a lot of the big institutions are in here. If you just Google it or look at it on Yahoo Finance, you can see what the holdings are in XLF. But it's like a who's who of the finance industry. Okay, now I want to move into so that's it for the market today. Up 77, pushing higher, but in my opinion, struggling to continue pushing higher. Now we're going to take a look at Brazil. If I can find, here we go, Brazil, Russia. Brazil is, having a little bit of a post World Cup rally in here, celebration. And they're starting to make this move. It's broken above these high points in here. Now, I mean, I could also make the case it looks like a little bit of a wedge, but I think I'm going to go with this scenario for now and just say that it looks like it's breaking out to new highs, and it seems to be acting fairly strong. Let's see if we're getting any. No divergence there, no divergence there, so I'm not getting any negatives on the move, so that's nice. Russia has turned down over the last week, so again, a little bit of a wedge. Looked like an end of this whole move, ending with a wedge. And, I talked about the resistance, in this area, this whole zone, and it seems to be getting that resistance coming in and selling off. India is continuing to push higher. We had a little bit of this sell-off. Now it's come back last couple days. So I think the rally is still on. And I've now moved this little 2 over here because this low became lower than this point. So this almost looks like an A, B, C type flat. And that's my best read of it right now. And we'll see if that continues to play out. It'd be nice to see that continue to push higher. And the Shanghai Composite, China, like I said in the post, comes back from the edge. I mean, it came down here, it could have easily broken down, broken this trend line, broken that one, and it's came rallying right back. And the latest news, I guess, was that their GDP estimate is now 7.5% growth, a little bit higher than what everybody was expecting. Everybody thought they were at 7, and now they're looking at, looks like second quarter is going to be 7.5. At least that's the initial look at it. So China is fighting to stay alive. Now let's take a look at the Chinese stocks. We're going to start off with C-Trip. And where is it? There we go. We're going to look at C-Trip, Jinko Solar, Melco Crown, Chihu 360, Sina, and Yoku Tudo. All right, so C-Trip, I've got this in a bullish mode. It looks like it's trending higher. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. What I'm looking for is a close back above the 10 in that it's trying to turn and rally again. This could be a part of a minor wave 3. So you got 1, 2, 3. This could be something going on with 3. To tell me once it continue going up, I need to close back above the 10 at a minimum to start it. Okay, so right now, nothing on that. Jinko Solar, actually, there we go. This is one that I'm going to go ahead and look at a trade idea on this and put the details on trade ideas page. I think this is getting ready that this is breaking down. I'm going to look to see if we can get into some puts right below the low of today. You've got the cross of the moving average, the 10 crossing the 21. It has broken this trend line in here. It looks like it's doing a bigger head and shoulders top. And so if it's doing that, now granted, when it slopes down like this, sometimes the power of the move is not as great, but you got to get it to break this neckline before you start worrying about that, actually. So, it's broken this trend line. It's going to need to break one more trend line, and that is right in here. And it breaks that trend line. It's going to come down and test here, and it breaks that. It's going to move at least this distance down. So right now, I'm looking to see if I can get in tomorrow morning with puts. Okay, Jinko Solar and Melco Crown. Now, here's another one that's pulling back, and I actually thought that maybe we had done an ABC correction, that we corrected enough, and we may have yet, but moving averages are crossing in here. This is selling off. It's getting a little bit of consolidation in here. It looks like it's trying to get some, pull itself together. So the real test is it going to pull in and close back above the 10 again? So jury's out on this one. Just kind of watching it closely to see what happens with it. Chihu 360. Chihu 360, we are in. We got in and puts on a break of this low in here, and of course it broke the low and then hasn't done a whole lot. It's just kind of hung sideways. Now, I don't like the fact that this break of the trend line crossing 21 is real shallow in here, and it's not going down. But we'll wait and see. Now, if this reverses and closes above the 10, I'm going to have to look to see, look at, tightening up a stop or something, and I could get stopped out. I got to stop above the high here. I've got a fairly tight stop in here because I'm not going to give this a whole lot of room, because this is possibly chopping sideways, but I'm looking to try to play this to the downside and looking for a break of this. So yes, we are in this in puts, and we got the details on the Trade Ideas webpage. And Cena is another one that has come down. I thought that it was going to be stronger in terms of breaking down through this. It seems to be getting some congestion, some support in here. Not really sure what this is doing yet. I don't know if it's trying to turn up, or if, my initial thought was that we might have one more leg down. But again, I'm just watching and monitoring. No real ideas jumping out at me on Cena. Okay, Yoku Tudu is the last one of the Chinese stocks we're going to look at tonight. And this is similar to Cena, except the rally was sharper in here. You did get this close down. It's pulled back down in here. I was thinking that if it breaks this trend line and comes down after this little move here, that it might test this low, but it seems to be trying to do that, but it hasn't done it yet. So again, right now, I don't have a specific play on Yoku, just kind of watching it to see what might develop in here. But right short term, I'd have to say short term, the trend looks like it's down. We still get the 55 pointed down. Okay, now I'm going to move real quickly. We talked about JK Solar. Two other ones. I talked about Citrix the other day about Trade Ideas on Saturday, I believe, and I actually had the Trade Ideas to where I was trying to play this to the downside. And then this morning I looked at it again and said, I just think that this thing, it's broken this trend line, and I think it may be trying to move up. And so I had a position up in here slightly above 64 at a point where we bought calls. And then, of course, you get in, buy calls, and it reverses back down. But right now we're going to stay with it, and we've got to stop down right down below 62.5, I believe, right down in here. So we'll see if we can hold that and get this thing to move up. I'm thinking it's going to come up here and at least try to close this gap at a minimum. And then if this is a head and shoulders, which I talked about the fact that I'm a little bit skeptical as whether it's a valid head and shoulders or not, but at a minimum, I think we might be taking a shot to close this gap, which would be at 66.5. So we'll have to see if we do that, and if it does that, then we'll sell part of our calls and see if we can ride the rest if it goes further. So that would be the play on that. And then the other one is Best Buy. Best Buy, which I haven't really done anything with. This one, we got a close above the 10. We got the 10 above the 21, above the 55. Now, granted, all three of these are below the 233-day. But right now, we got this close back above. It seems to be wanting to trend up, and I'm going to see if we can get in this with calls. And maybe at a minimum, it takes a shot at closing the gap up here, which is, would close at around 35.5, 35.7, something like that. So that's going to be the play I'm looking at as another trade idea, and the details be on the Trade Ideas page. Okay, that's it for tonight. If this video helped you in any way, I appreciate it if you would share it on social media. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. You can get email updates and access to the Trade Ideas webpage. And let's see. Well, the last thing I want to mention is remember, trading is more than bars on the chart. So until next time, stay focused, follow your plan, and trade without fear. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll talk to you on Saturday.